Hello, welcome to my home. My name is Lisa, and this is my channel where I discuss things that I create with needle and thread. Whether it be cross stitch or quilting, any of the things involved in that aspect. I like to finish my own things, and I love to decorate and put them around my home. So hopefully you'll find something that will encourage you to pull out your stitching and maybe even grab it now while we're talking, and we'll talk about some stitching. I have a couple finishes to share with you. I found a few frames that I am excited to fully finish some items. I made a couple more scissor fobs and I did some quilting, so let's get started and talk about some stitching. So the first thing I finished was a new start. I started this a couple days after my last video, and it is from Blackbird Design booklet, Honeysuckle Manor, which was gifted to me by Debbie. And I had been talking about starting another little pillow that would have some alphabets on it. And so I decided instead of doing bright red, I would do more of a salmony pink color. And so this is what I made. And it's not even meant to be a chart. It's just the alphabet that's meant to personalize the sampler in the book. And so I just went ahead. It was a quick stitch, just did it up in the evening. I put a little bit of fabric on the back, which is squirrels with little jackets. How appropriate. I have a lot of squirrel moments. So I stuffed it with crushed walnut shells, and then I just put a little bulb pin. And I think my buttons are a little too thick. I think I either need to take one off or put on a little thinner button for one of them. They're all kind of thick, and one is just right where it starts to curve. But anyway, I have a lot of shades of red / maroon that my mom made a quilt for me years ago, and so it hangs up in my bedroom. And I'm kind of trying to motivate myself to redo my bedroom a little bit and update it. I haven't really done anything in there in a long time. And so I thought, well, if I started making some little things to sit around, that might be fun. So I did that, got that done. I also worked on Sampler House by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. And I think the last time I had a video, I shared with you that I couldn't find the project for a while and realized that it was because I had finished another one of Brenda's patterns and had it on the finishing pile, and I forgot that this was on the same piece of fabric. So last time I shared with you, I just had maybe like one row of the house done, like up to like one row of the windows. I only had one of the trees in. So I was able to finish the house, do the other little tree plant, whatever that is, and was able to work my way down. So we've got another finish. Not exactly sure how I'm going to finish that. I was on the hunt. I went to the thrift store I guess it's been 2 weeks now, and was trying to find frames, and I actually remembered to take stitching with me. It was a wonderful moment of clarity. And when they didn't have anything. They were just sold out of everything. I don't know whether they had gone through and just decluttered and got rid of things that hadn't sold in a long time, or if they had just sold out of everything. But there was hardly any frames to be even seen, let alone try to decide whether it was something you'd want. They just didn't even have anything to choose from. It was very odd. because normally my thrift store is full all the time. But anyway, so I was kind of bummed out. I thought, well, geez, the one day I actually remember to bring my stitching and they don't have anything. But it was still fun. I still found things that day. I just couldn't find frames. So anyway, I'm still on the hunt for a frame for this one. It's kind of a weird size. I think it ends up to be square. I measured it and I put it in my phone so that maybe next time when I'm around some frames, I'll look to see if I can find that. However, I did have another finish, and it is just put in this frame just to see if I'm liking the idea that came through my head. I did find this frame at the thrift store, and it was 50 cents. And I had just finished this one by, I want to say it's called the Little Stitcher. I got it off of Pinterest. It was just a free chart. And so, like I said, I haven't even cut my linen or anything. It's the wrong size because it's a square, and this, of course, is a rectangle. But I thought this color that I used for the stitching is this teal color, and I thought, well, maybe that might be fun. And I might even pick a more of a red tone like the house, and then I thought I would just do some big stitching here, some big X's. So anyway, I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are, whether you think this is a good plan or if I should just hold out for the perfect size frame. I still haven't dove in and got a saw and decided to try to cut down frames like Kim, the Contented Stitcher, does. I haven't dove into another purchase like that, but I feel like that's a good plan. Although I sometimes like things to look a little bit more original than just every other framed piece of cross stitch. So anyway, so that's one of my thought processes to finish. I was able to find another frame, and I think it was for 50 cents also. Oh, just a second. Okay, cool, they went outside to bark. So I found another frame, and it was, I want to say it was 50 cents or $1. And so I think it's going to be just perfect for my Kringle and Woolard. This is a Plum Street sampler design that I finished a while back. And so I think the frame is just perfect. It shows, it's, compares quite well with, because there's not great coverage on here. I just used one strand of floss, which I always do. And so, the coverage on the sheep isn't real dense. And so this is kind of the same type of feel. I think it will look pretty nice in there. It is a little bit big, but I accidentally stitched one of these trees in the wrong spot. So if I get too close, I'm going to have to re-stitch some of that. So anyway, I'm kind of liking the size and everything. So I feel like this might be a frame I choose to go with. So I need to have a little bit of a framing session. We'll see. Okay, so that's pretty much my finishes in cross stitch. So I thought next I'll share with you what I've been working on. I had 1 week, I think it's been a couple weeks now since I had a video, and I had 1 week that I was pretty diligent. I got like a blank spot right there. Anyway, I had a 1 week that was really productive, and then last week was not one of those weeks, but that's okay. They're not all very productive as long as you just keep moving forward. So I worked a little bit this weekend on the Stacy Nash chart Miss Baxter's house. I was away at a stamping retreat. They were all doing scrapbooking and things like that. And I don't do that, but I love to make cards. So I always take my card making supplies and I try to make a ton of cards while I'm there. And of course we eat a ton. And it's just good to get away and hang out with the girls. And so that's what I was doing this last weekend. And so when I was tired of stamping or whatever, I decided to do a little bit of cross stitch. I had this design that I knew was just going to be fill-in stuff. And anyway, I thought this would be the perfect contender. So I took it with me. Let's see, I guess I should show you how much I have done so far. I have the border on 3 sides pretty much. And so I had already traced out this side of the house, or outlined it, I mean. And so I decided to just fill in the logs of the log home. So I actually used fancy floss, which I am so glad I did, because the variegation is so pretty on it. And I guess you can tell a little bit, especially the cream. I used the Gentle Art thread, ragdoll, and maple syrup. And so just really happy with how that's turning out. And so I hadn't done any of the logs yet, so I got quite a bit done for the little bit that I worked on it. So, but yeah, it was mindless. I knew I just had to do 3 rows. I mean, I did have to think a little bit around the window, but other than that, I mean, it was just a no-brainer. And so I would just do the one color until the floss ran out, and then I would do the other color. And so, but it was very enjoyable working on that and not having to concentrate. I could, you know, chime in with all the conversation that was going on around me. And all right, so I think my dog's gonna jump up here, so let me rearrange some stuff here so she doesn't sit on my cross stitch. Oh good, she went over there. She has no respect for my stuff. I just can't believe it. She just jump up on it with her dirty feet without a care in the world. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Okay, so I worked a little bit on that one. And so the rest of these are in, I don't really know what order I worked on them, because it really doesn't matter. I've been trying to work on A Shepherd's Song by Plum Street on Mondays. And I don't feel like I was able to get a ton done this week. I think I worked on it a little bit on a Sunday. I don't think it was on the right day, but anyway, you just have to be thankful. I guess I've worked on it a couple of times since the last video. So let's see what we've done here. This is what I have so far. And the work that I did was mainly in this area. I was able to finish this other tree. And I did the little shepherd lady minus her head, because I can't figure out what color I want to use for her skin tone. And then I started this little flower over here. And so it'll be at the point where I could, in theory, start the big house, because I've done this little flower here. So I could, in theory, start the big house. I'm just not real sure if I'm happy with my house color. And that was just one big decision, because that's a lot of stitching. So anyway, I decided to just work on the little flower. And I finished a little bit of the tree stem and whatever. So things that didn't really make a whole lot of, they weren't crucial decisions. Sometimes I feel like I'm buying a car or something. It's a big decision. It's a lot of stitches. Okay, I did work a little bit on Summer at Hollyberry Farm. I've been really trying to plug away at this. My goal is to finish it by July. And so I did more of the border. I've been cruising along this way, and so I did quite a bit more of that. And so now I think it's safe to come down from the top and see where I meet up. But anyway, I'm just very excited that this one is nearing an end. I've enjoyed it. And really, the berries are not as difficult as they had been when I first started. I found a rhythm in it, and so they seem to be going pretty quickly. So that's a plus. Okay, and then the last thing that I worked on for cross stitch is by Leela Studios, and it's a Quaker Welcome. I think I worked on this a little bit before work one day, and I'm just still working on that alphabet towards the bottom of my stitching. And so I think I had gone to maybe K or something like that, and so I was able to work towards E. Like I said, there hasn't been any huge progress, mainly because I wanted to finish some of these other little things that I had already shown. I wanted to finish Jane Eyre, which was a Mania start, I think 2 years ago. So I was happy to get that one finished. And then I started and finished that little pillow, so that kind of took a day out of the rotation. And then last Tuesday, as I was walking into work, my foot slipped out from under me as I was walking in the door to work, and I fell down on both knees and on my arm and kind of, jarred everything up, messed up my neck. So that's the reason why last week I really didn't get anything majorly accomplished. I was able to stay throughout the day and work, but I took a lot of Tylenol, and my knee is still really bruised to touch it, but other than that, I haven't really had any trouble, which surprises me because my knees are usually my biggest issue. So thankfully, I didn't hurt anything there, and they seem to be doing fine. I just don't touch my knee. Like the doctor says, it really hurts to touch this. Well, then don't touch it. And my neck is pretty much back to normal. So I just kind of chilled on Tuesday and Wednesday. I really didn't do hardly anything, even though I knew I needed to get ready for my trip. I wanted to get everything packed and ready to go, and I just couldn't make myself do it. So, but anyway, I was still able to get everything packed in the car, and me and Loretta still went and had a wonderful time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I guess since I'm kind of talking about the retreat, I thought I'd show you a few of the cards that I was able to make while I was down there. Some of them are a little bit prettier than others. Sometimes I was inspired, sometimes I wasn't. I really liked this little strawberry stamp. So, and my plan was, as soon as I found a card that I really liked, I was going to hurry and stamp a bunch of them. Well, I just couldn't make myself do that. I just wanted to move on to the next one. And so by the end of the time, the last day, or no, I guess it was Saturday, they had a free table, and they had a bunch of paper over there on the table, and so I found a couple pieces that I liked, and so I've started just doing mainly things with just decorative paper and hardly any stamping at all, and that was kind of fun. I really enjoyed, the no-brainer approach to that, and letting the paper do all the work. But anyway, so I was able to get, a pretty good stack of cards made, and so that was fun. And then we ate way too much. And like I said, did some cross stitch. It was just a really good time. There was about 50 of us. We went to Amish country. And we went to the Peddler before on our way down there. So we ate at Rebecca's, which is a really cool place down in Amish country to eat. And we had breakfast there. And then we went to the Peddler, which is such a fun shop. And I found a couple bunnies. I don't know that they would be considered concrete because they weren't that heavy. Or maybe they're just not solid. Anyway, but I just got two different bunnies to go out in my flower bed around my new pond that we put in last year. And I thought maybe if I motivate myself with these really nice things to go in the flower bed, I will be more apt to create the flower bed. So motivating myself, whichever way I can do, trying to get me through to get some work done. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the cross stitching that I did. While we were down there, we made a couple more. Loretta wanted to make some scissor fobs, so we did make a few on Saturday night just for fun. And I kind of wanted to do, I had bought a necklace at the thrift store that had some pretty beads on it. And so I decided to try to do one that was green, and it has like a little butterfly. And then I thought, well, a patriotic one would be good. So I did one with more reds and blues. And then I made one that was pink. And so it has a spool and some scissors and then some pink buttons. There we go. And a measuring tape. And so I thought, well, everybody seemed to like the scissor fob giveaway last time. So I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and make up another one real quick. So if you didn't win, you'll have another chance. And for the one that did win, for Lisa, and Debbie, I both had things to send out to both of you. And with my fall and then being away over the weekend, I didn't get either thing put out in the mail. But I did make you both a card while I was down there. So hopefully I can still get them off in the mail today. I apologize. I'm usually pretty diligent with certain things. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I try to really follow through and do it. Now, if it's something I'm just telling myself I'm going to do, but... so I apologize that I haven't got those things off in the mail to you guys, but I will get it off here as soon as I can. We've also had another development. Our furnace keeps going out, which has been kind of stressful. I don't know if my birds haven't been very loud, I don't think, today, but I do have an aviary here in my living room with a bunch of birds. So if the power goes off, I mean, they're not conditioned for cold weather just because they've been in captivity all their life. So anyway, if they get cold or whatever, they can very quickly become ill. So that's always been a big fear of mine, is for the furnace to go out. And so it's gone out quite a few times. Now, my husband has purchased one of the parts that we needed, and it was working fine for about a week, and then I go away and it goes out again. So, and it's still out. So hopefully tonight the repair guy will be able to come and figure out our issue. So excuse me. So anyway, it's been a lot of stuff that doesn't normally happen around here. So it's been hard to motivate myself, but I've been trying anyway. When I was at the thrift store, I ran across a little bundle of pre-made quilt blocks. This is one that I didn't use. I want to say they're maybe 5-inch squares, something like that. They might not be, yeah, I think they're squares. Anyway, they were like $1.50 or $1.25. And there was a little bundle of them, and I thought, no, Lisa, you don't need that. You have pretty fabric, because it was pretty fabric, but it really wasn't necessarily something I was really drawn to. There was a couple of colors that I really liked, but there was like this one that had this stripe that's just totally not me. But anyway, I thought, oh, just get it. And so I brought it home. Well, the other night I couldn't sleep. It was like 3 in the morning, and so I went in and I was just looking at them. I thought, well, I'll just lay them around and see what they look like. And so I decided to just hurry and stitch it up. And so this is the little, like a little table topper or something that I came up with. And I think it turned out pretty cute. So within, you know, like, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, I was just able to go find a brown and put them together in kind of a pleasing arrangement. And so I had been talking before on my other channel that I wanted to do a new little table runner or something, or table topper for my coffee table. So I think that's going to be what I will make with that. I just have to put it on my quilting machine and get it quilted up. So I only had one block that I didn't use. So I don't know, maybe I'll make a coaster and maybe Larry won't put his drink on it like he did my last quilt that's sitting over there. Stained it. Little stinker. So anyway. So let's see, I worked on that one day, and then one day I worked on my Tall Pines quilt. I'm doing that for a Christmas type wall hanging in my dining room. If you've been here before, you've heard me talk about that quite a bit. It's a free pattern from Lori Holt's blog. No, I think this one, yeah, I think you have to go to her. No, it's on a YouTube channel. Sorry, it's been a day. So anyway, I worked on that, and so now I only have 2 more blocks I think I have to make, and then those will all be ready to go. So I'm excited about that. And then I also am working on Farm Sweet Farm by Lori Holt, and I'm doing that in conjunction with Jeanette of Crafty Cottage Stitches on YouTube. And so she's doing it in Lori Holt fabric, and I'm doing it in just more of a prim color fabric. And so I had done a couple of the little pieced blocks, and so I did a different colorway. It still has some of that teal in there because that's what I want to be one of the main colors, but I did it with brown in the points of the star. So anyway, I think I have 7 blocks done now. I think I have to make 21, maybe. I think 21 if I do it the size that I'm anticipate doing it. So anyway, so I did get a little bit more done on that. I took my little tall pine tree blocks into the dining room, so I don't have any of those to show. I just pinned them on the quilt that I have hanging in there now to try to see how many I wanted to make. And so I figured out that if I stagger them, I only have to do like 2 more blocks. And I did 1 block incorrectly. I wasn't paying close enough attention to what I was doing. I was watching a Flosstube video while I was piecing, and so I did I did the angles of the pine tree branches. I did all of them the same way, so I have half of 2 blocks done. So technically I only have to make 1 block, and I'll be done. So I'm close on that. So I feel like there has been some stuff done, not near what I could have accomplished if I hadn't fallen going into work. And here Anna was walking behind me, and here she was walking up towards the door, and she looked to the door and saw my leg hanging out the door. scared her to death, she said. So, jeez. Spilt my whole can of Dr. Pepper. I mean, dang it. Anyway, I'm just glad nothing got really, really badly hurt. So, anyhow, well, I think that pretty much sums up what I've been working on. As far as plans, I'm not real sure. I've gotten my retreat out of the way, and honest to Pete, all I've done today is fallen asleep. Every time I've sat down, which has been often, I've fallen asleep, like within moments. So it's like 3 o'clock and I haven't done anything except get my kitchen all put back together. So anyway, but I figured it's okay. That's what a day off's for, right? Chill out and just rest a little bit. So, but the sun is shining here. I think it's supposed to be in the 40s, which is nice. Thankfully, we have these little heaters that we've been putting around the house, trying to keep the house warm while our furnace is out. So, anyway. So, if you want to enter for the scissor fob, just say scissors in a comment below, and we'll enter you in. And yeah, I think that's about it. I do want to continue working on my projects, and now that I've finished 3 of them, I had 3 finishes this time, so now I don't know if I'm going to start something new or if I'm just going to pull out some new stuff out of my basket of whips. Nothing's really calling me to start. I do have a new thing I could start if I went and got the floss, but I don't know. Market's coming up this week, so I'm sure that will get me all revved up to do something, so I probably should wait. But anyway, I hope everybody is having a great Monday so far, or whenever you watch this. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're able to create something with your hands and it's making you smile. So come back and join me again.